Oh, I got a really funny story about happy money, and this one has a completely funny karmic situation where years ago, this is many years ago, I had the idea that giving money, right, to produce joy that I would never see, but I knew it was happening. So I had, as many of us do, a big, huge change thing in my car, right? Where, every time you get in the car, you dump the change out in the side pocket. And so I would, on my way home from work, there was a grade school. And, it's late, right? No, none of the kids are there. But I knew in the morning the kids were going to come in the school and they would go through this entrance. So I took a handful, quarters, nickels, dimes, everything, and I opened the window and I threw it at the entrance. So there's change all over the place. And, I remember thinking, the times in my life when I found a quarter on the ground, I was like, oh my God, it's a quarter. It's like so much happiness. It was like, today's going to be a good day. Ever found a quarter, right? Or a dollar? It's like, it's only a quarter. It's only $1. But you feel like, hey, you know what? Today is going to be a good day. I got to found a quarter. So anyway, I did this and I kind of expanded upon it too. I went to bus stops and I would, I'd be, driving down the street. I see a bus stop, and I pull out a $20 bill out of my pocket, and I would stuff it in the crack, at the bus stop, where I knew, it wasn't very visible, but I knew somebody at some point was going to be getting on or waiting for that bus, and they're like, And that they look down and there's $20. Oh my God. Wow. I just knew, somewhere that was going to get found, and it was going to make somebody's day. It was going to fill them with joy and excitement, like finding a treasure. So anyway, I kept doing this. I was doing this for months, and at a certain point, I remember thinking to myself, like a feigning little thought, it was like, you know what, Bill, this, you can't keep doing this, Bill. It's going to come back to you. And I was like, oh, well, whatever. But I was kind of wondering if in fact the universe is true, right, that everything comes back. I was kind of wondering how that might ever happen. Anyway, one day I had a vessel. And I was going up the coast of California from San Diego up to Newport. And I was alone, and I'm offshore and, trolling along at, 10 knots. And I look over and I see a bird on the water, and it's standing on something. And I was like, oh my God, I have no idea what that looks like. It's something in the water that it is. And I went over there, and it's like there was this huge, like I would say maybe 3 foot by 3 foot by a foot box type thing. It was kind of all taped up, and I was like, oh my gosh, it looks like something fell off a ship. And I was like, I wonder what it is. I had always wanted to find like a bale of money by the, because of the drug lords, coming up the coast. And, I was like, oh, I wonder if it's a bale of money or something. I got the gaff and I pulled it on board. And anyway, I was like, oh my gosh, what is it? And out of the hole, I pinched out a little bit of what is in there, and I was like, oh, it's oregano. And I was like, oregano? That doesn't make any sense. What's that? Anyway, it turned out, statute of limitations here, I can say this, but the darn thing was a bale of pot. And I don't smoke pot. I'm not into it. But I'll tell you what, when I found that, my heart was beating. I couldn't hardly breathe. I was like, oh my God, I'm rich. Oh my God. I have no idea what it was even worth or anything. but I was like on the phone, I'm shaking. I was so excited with all of the joy of finding a treasure. Anyway, it was, the funny thing about it is that the happy money that we end up giving out there, in some way, somehow, it gets returned to us. And that was my funny story of it getting returned. Hey, so if you like this, join us December 3rd, all-day class on creating happy money, how to create this in yourself, a certain feeling, and unblock yourself to start creating happy money in many different areas of life.
Go ahead and do it.
Hey, if you like this content, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. It really helps our channel when you do that. Thank you.